Ugh. Again. There we go. All right. Now we are live. Hopefully everybody can hear me. See if I can get the lighting right. Running a little late. There we go. Johnny. How's it going, Johnny? What is the deal? I mean, as soon as I put the video up, unbelievable. Give me a second here, fellas. Had to get my coffee. Can't forget the coffee. And my wife needed help with something, so I had to do that. It took me a little longer than I thought. Next thing I know, I'm like, I got 2 minutes. No time. All right, so forgot to comb my hair. Yeah, I need to paint some hair on. Yeah, we're doing good. How about you? Everything's good with you? There we go. All right, I should be set now. Although I don't like the lighting very much, but that's all right. We'll square it away. Yeah, what's going on here? There we go. That'll do. That'll do you. Good morning, everybody. Let's give it a few minutes. People should come in eventually. If you didn't watch yesterday, I did go to the Rap God, which, you know, I got to be careful about what I say about the place, but let's just say that when I go there, I've been there 5 or 6 times now, and I've only seen one other person buying anything there. I'll leave you to figure out why that is, but suffice to say, the last few times I ate there, I needed to use the facilities rather quickly. Yesterday was a little bit different, but I'll tell you what, after I had the meal there, it was the best meal that I've had out of all those meals, and it wasn't saying much. It was much better than some of the times that I've been there, but still, it was just too greasy for my taste, and basically, you know, I didn't get the shits. I didn't get the runs or anything like that. But it was the kind of meal that, I don't know, you know, an hour, 2 hours later, I just felt like it just didn't sit well with me. But when I was eating it, it was, you know, it was greasy, it was nasty. You know, it wasn't a good kind of greasy like In-N-Out burger. But, you know, whatever. That's why I went there, to see. And it had improved, so, you know, what are you going to do? Today is a Friday. Finally, a Friday. Thank Buddha, it's Friday. What did I order? I ordered hash browns, which, you know, it's hard to screw up hash browns. They're just frozen hash browns. And, you know, they take them out. I don't know if she defrosted them or not. They throw them in some oil. And all in all, those were probably the best item that I ate. They had a corn dog and it was a low grade. It seemed like a low grade dog. Definitely not a high end dog. Very small, basically all you know corn batter. And I wasn't impressed with that. Then I had a fried chicken. Let me think here. Uh, Fried chicken and cheese burger. And at first it didn't taste bad, but then they had all kinds of sauce on it. They put a clump of cheese that had been defrosted on top of the chicken, and then uh, they got the blowtorch out, which was great because everybody got to see the blowtorch, which is always used there. Which apparently that is something that uh, is supposed to be a big deal. It's trendy right now. Uh, yeah, Dairy Queen and what's the other one? Anti. I want to say Anti M, but it's not Anti M. It's Anti Ann's. They tend to have some halfway decent hot dogs. Uh, Other than that, you got to buy sausage in Thailand, or you're not going to get really any good dogs. Uh, it's a little difficult to get the dogs. I am still alive. I wasn't too happy for about 2 hours after the meal. I actually sent a message to Longhorns, and I was like, the quality of that meal, my rating went down once I got home, and it wasn't because I had to run to the toilet. It was so greasy and so heavy. It didn't sit well. I mean, all that fried food, it's all fried, and I just, yeah, I mean, I'd rather have a nice piece of salmon, you know, uh, with some vegetables on the side, a little rice pilaf or something, But that's why I don't usually go there. So anyway, let's see here. Some good news. The dollar is 35.16 to the baht, which, yesterday it got up to about 35.09. It went down below 35, and now it's up to, the last I looked, it was 35.16. So that's some good news for people visiting from the U.S. and probably from elsewhere. Anyone try the hot dogs, chili dogs delivery service where the girl will stay and watch you eat? Yeah, I remember that, and I haven't tried that. I should do that. Let my kids revel in it. Let her watch my boys. They might enjoy it. Anyway, there's a few things going on today. It's Friday. I probably will not stream this weekend. Because I've streamed, this is 4 days in a row. But yeah, probably put some videos up. Anyway, it is air quality 57, 86 degrees, high at 94, low of 81. Feel like temperature is now 99 degrees, and actually, this is about 15 minutes ago. Humidity 71%, 80% chance of rain, so yes, it will be raining today. And winds 2 kilometers an hour, which means there's virtually no wind to the northeast. So there's your temperature, there's your weather for Bangkok. Of course, Thailand has various temperatures, various things going on around the country. The weather could be much better up north or down south or whatever, but in this region and for the next week and a half, there should be rain every day. So if you're coming here, just keep that in mind. It's not that big of a deal. Most of the time it doesn't rain all that long. If I was going to a meeting or something like that and I had things to do every day where I had to be somewhere at a certain time, it would make things a little bit more difficult, but that's not the case anymore, so I don't worry about it. All right, so we got a few things, like I said, to talk about, but remember to do me a favor, if you will, click thumbs up, smash the like button, subscribe if you have not already done so. If you like the channel, go down in the description, visit my website, purchase some merch, some books, become a sponsor of the YouTube channel. Just hit the join button. There's PayPal, there's the Cash App, there's Patreon, there's even Buy Me a Coffee. Everything's down in the description, plus the social media links, all my social media links. So if you can do that, I appreciate that. Any help is always appreciated. Now I was trying to get some shirts up yesterday and today. I haven't finished them yet. There's some new shirts. One of them was the Zero Fucks shirt, and the other one was Man Up. That's what it says on the shirt. So they will be going up shortly, among other things. I'll get you some crop tops. I want to get a crop top for girls, for your girls to wear, that says Farang Lives Matter. Right now I only have t-shirts, but I think that would be better if you have them wearing it. That way they tell everybody, hey, my guy's life matters. Thank you very much there, Johnny. Appreciate that. Choke D to you this wonderful Bangkok morning. It's a bit strange now. I'm starting to get used to this little room here. I was talking to the wife today. I'm like, all right, so, we got a long list of things to check out before we do move. We need to know, what is going to be the best place. We need to think about just like I said, we have a long list. We need to think about some things that we need, and what's going to be good for all of us. And so we're working on that. But yeah, I don't know exactly when it'll happen. But she says by the end of the year. So I don't know. You never know. But I'm gonna say I'll believe her. Do you ship any merchandise from Thailand for people living here? No, I don't. I don't ship. Sometimes I have stuff coming in, and then if somebody needs anything, I throw it in, and I charge the whatever it is, and but I don't really have anything now. But they do ship to Thailand. So, if you buy a couple of items, the shipping is not bad. It doesn't work out to be all that expensive. But if it's only one shirt, that's a bit of a difference. So, all right. So let's see here. Let me see what we got. What is this here? Oh, yes. Oh, that is not what was supposed to happen. Okay. Anyway, let me proceed here. Good deal. There were a few things to talk about. The first thing, I saw this, and this is from a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it's a month ago. I never saw this. But our fearless health minister here, Anutin Chanwirakul, he has backtracked on the July 1st date as calling this virus endemic. And I can tell you that a lot of people here are starting to just not care anymore. They're not wearing their masks as often. It depends on where you go. You'll see patches of people and everybody's wearing their mask. Then you'll go and there's patches of people and nobody's wearing their mask. But he's saying that he never said that the virus would be declared endemic on July 1st. I don't remember it that way, but who knows with the media what's the truth. But I'm trying to find it here, and I want to remember which article it was in. But it did say something to the effect of that wearing a mask is not the law. They're saying this again. It's not the law. If you're outside and you're alone, nobody has been arrested, is what they said in the article. Nobody's been arrested for not wearing a mask. If you're in a place with a large number of people, they're still saying you should wear a mask. A poorly ventilated area, you should wear a mask. So they're waffling, and this is something that, if you're moving here, you need to be prepared for. There's always going to be the waffling, the flip-flopping. It's just the way that they operate. And, I tried to be very diplomatic when I said that, they throw everything they got on the wall and they see what sticks. But the truth is that they flip-flop a lot. They really do. It's one day it's here, one day it's there. One day it's here, one day it's there. It's back and forth, and that's what can be so frustrating to people. It's, this is going to be the new law. Oh, we're going to implement this. It's going to cost you this much more. Now we're not going to. And so for people who are coming here and they're not used to that, I will tell you that yesterday I saw something. I saw this in the paper, and it was about. Yes, I said that yesterday. He's been vaccinated 4 times, and yet he got the virus. So, but I read this article about Kim Kardashian and how people were complaining about that she wore Marilyn Monroe's dress, and that she went to this Met Gala and that she destroyed the dress, that she damaged it, and all this other stuff. Well, we're looking through Netflix yesterday, and I pulled a little prank on the family yesterday. We've always had just the little blank, the little generic, the generic icons. We've had the generic icons, it's just like a little red smiley face. And then for the kids, they have a little blue smiley face. And for the wife, she has a little yellow smiley face. Well, I went in and looked for the icon, that the funniest icons. And I found this one of this woman. And she had this frizzy hair sticking up all over the place. She's making a face. I put that up as my wife's new icon. And then for my kids, I put this extremely gay black, I don't know if it was a man or woman, but it looked like it was supposed to be a man. And I put that up as their icon. And then I put up a tiger as my icon because I was born in the year of a tiger. And they know that. So then I went in and I called the kids down and I go, hey, who's been messing with the Netflix, these icons? What's going on here? And they're like, we didn't touch it. Well, I don't know. Who touched it? So then I'm blaming it on the wife. Then the wife comes home. I'm blaming it on the kids. And they're like, how do we change it? I don't know. I really don't know. But the icons were so funny that we couldn't stop laughing. All of us were laughing. Anyway, I go into Netflix. I see this episode that the Kardashian family had come to Thailand. And of course, my wife was like, oh, we have to watch that. We have to watch that. I'm like, okay, all right, we'll watch it. And the old lady, the mother, the only reason I'm telling you about this is because this is kind of how it is. People don't come to Thailand and immediately understand the way that people think here. The old lady is sitting in this van, and the van driver is driving, like a maniac, like most Thai van drivers do drive. Bruce Jenner, or Caitlyn, or whatever you want, at the time he was Bruce, he's sitting there, he's just chilled out, relaxed. The little girls are sitting there, they're on their phones, they don't care, and they're racing along. And the mother she's freaking out. Oh my God, tell him to stop. Tell him to slow down. We're going to die. Oh my God. And so the guy who's driving, at some point, he slams on the brakes. And they all kind of, get thrown forward a bit. But she went nuts because he banged into the back of the other vehicle. And she's like, we almost died. Oh my God, we almost died. I can't believe this. Oh my God. And you're sitting there. You don't even say anything to the guy. And he's like, he's not even going to understand me. He's like, it wasn't that bad. And she's like, we almost died. And he's like, we tapped the back of the vehicle. And that's how it is here. Some people will come here and they will freak out because something happens. They will be so serious. And most of the time at this point, I mean, I'm just like, Mike and Ryan, let's see what happens. As long as you're not hurt, as long as you're okay, you're not being thrown in jail or whatever. You know, when you come over here, you need to expect these things. Even as a tourist, things happen. But some people just don't get it. This is not America. They don't do things the same way. And I just found it really funny that she's freaking out because they tapped the back of a car. I was in the back of a taxi once, sound asleep. I'd been taking a 2-hour trip back and forth to this boxing gym. And we smashed into the back of another vehicle. And I flew up against the back of the, both seats. And I was like, oh, we're okay. And the guy got out, looks at his vehicle. They exchanged numbers. And we went on our merry way. And that's kind of the mentality of, the Thais. It's like, Mike and Ryan, hey, just relax, take it easy. No problem, no, okay, we take care problem. But when most foreigners come over here, especially, I would say, Americans, they come over here, man, they freak out. They see something, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe what they're doing to that animal. Yeah, well, you better not say anything, because they might start treating you like that if you open your big mouth, That's happened. So, I don't know what got me off on this little tangent here, but Anaton, as I said, is backtracking on this endemic thing. Now, they're backtracking on the whole, they've gone back and forth about these masks. Oh, there's not any law. However, because of the emergency decree, depending on the area you are, they could arrest you because you're breaking whatever mandate it is that has been implemented in the emergency decree. The particular region, the governor of that region has the ability to tell his police force that how to react. Like in Pattaya and Phuket, in Phuket especially, they've made a stink about it. Now you don't hear anything about it because they've got lots of tourists and they just can't handle it. They just can't handle all the tourists coming in. The tourists are not wearing their mask down on the beach. So if you're coming here, I would say be prepared for that. And they are flip-flopping on the ganja rules as well. However, and they are supposed to meet today. However, they did come out with some information here, and I was going to talk about that. Where is it? Here. Now, first of all, they have the roach coaches, right? You've heard of the roach coach, especially people in America. They know what it is. It's just basically a truck that drives around and sells food. Might sell Thai food, might sell Mexican food, might sell burgers, whatever it is. Well, now there's a cannabis pop-up truck. And it's really funny because they say, let's see here. Okay, let me just read the article because I'll tell you where the little caption is that I really like. Amnesia, Jack Hayes, and Night Nurse are among marijuana strains on sale at a pop-up truck in Bangkok as retailers cash in on demand for the newly decriminalized substance from foreigners and locals alike. Thailand last week became the first Asian country to legalize the growing of marijuana and its consumption in food and drinks by delisting it as a narcotic. The government has said it hopes the move will help the agricultural and medical research sectors of the economy. Sellers of the drug said the COVID-19 pandemic battered tourism industry should also get a boost. Smoking pot in public can violate health laws, however, and Parliament is still debating a draft cannabis regulation bill, meaning there's confusion about how it will be legally used. Uh, you see, it didn't say this in the beginning, but let me see here. Speaking of dancing, Kira Grutner, a 32-year-old customer from Canada, was among tourists who queued at a green pop-up truck in Tourism Haven, Kowsan Road, where staff weighed and packaged buds and crushed leaves. I think it might bring people from countries where it's not legal. It could be another tourism pull for people, she said. The truck, now here's what, I don't understand why they wrote it this way, because they just said Kowsan Road. The truck, located in an area of Bangkok popular with backpackers. Area of Bangkok popular with backpackers. What is the first place that most people who know about Thailand or Bangkok think? Kowsan Road. Well, they just said that. I guess they're just thinking of a different way to say it, but they're selling buds. It seems like they don't want people to know where it is. Is selling buds, I mean, they're not saying it's on the corner at the very end of Kowsan Road next to the police station. They've got a truck there and they're selling weed. That's not what they're saying. Is selling buds at 700 baht per gram. And staff said the drug can affect users in different ways, like helping them sleep better or easing anxiety, or giving them big rashes and possibly killing them, if you listen to the Thai media. Another foreign customer, here you go, Mr. Dancer, Kentaro Kajima, described his purchase as a dream come true while dancing with a friend in front of the truck. Leave it to everybody who likes to get stoned. They're out there dancing. Woohoo! Yeah. Thailand, which has traditionally used cannabis to relieve pain and fatigue, legalized marijuana in 2018. That's a Reuters article, which I just think it's kind of funny. Are these products being allowed to make? They're selling buds. They're selling buds right in the store, and this is the stuff that gets you high, which is why I was freaking out about it. The only thing they won't sell is stuff that can be used like oil, vape pens, and edibles. And I think that the reason for that may be that they don't trust the manufacturer's ability to make, like I was saying yesterday, if you make a batch of brownies, you can try to make it even, that you get every brownie has approximately the same amount of THC in it. But it doesn't always happen. Even with these big manufacturers, it doesn't always happen. So I think that's what they're worried about. And they are so naive. And I just wonder, are they really that naive? Or are they just saying that so that they come off like, safety first? Yeah, that's what I thought. But then I found out, oh no, they're selling, I forget what, Fire Dude. He came in and he sent me a price list from a place near Chowchak. You can go right in, walk in, buy some buds. Whatever. And, one of these days I am going to go down to the place just to take a look. See exactly what they have. I don't know if they'll let me photograph in the place or shoot video or anything like that. I'm not really counting on it. I'd have to ask. I would definitely want to ask in that place, because the last thing I want is somebody jumping all over me because I was filming inside of a marijuana dispensary. Well, we'll find out. Today there is a meeting. Apparently Anutin will be in this meeting, and I give him a hard time, and I don't particularly like the guy and his attitude about foreigners or anything like that, but he's the guy who's been pushing this whole marijuana movement. So, and like I said, there's this marijuana truck, and they do have a little photo here. It doesn't say the name of the truck or anything. But you can see clearly that the buds are, they've got little glass jars in a little window, and there's buds in them, and people are sitting around. And there was a smoke out. Let me see here. I forget the name of it. I wanted to talk about that a little bit more. You know, just like they have it in Wisconsin. I think it's Oshkosh or something. Let me see here. CBD gummies, mango. These are 3,000 milligrams apparently. But anyway, let me see if I can pot smoke out. Yeah, they're talking about the 3,000 people let out of prison. I don't want that. I want marijuana smoke out. Okay, let's see here. All right, in Thailand, this is 4 days ago. 3,000 revelers gathered under the moonlight to celebrate a major Thai cannabis festival following the kingdom's decision to begin relaxing laws around the drug. Let's take a look. All right, looks like there was a concert here. It's a Thailand 420 concert get together, and it was by the Highland. I don't know what the whole name of it is, but it's like Highland. They have Highland Cafe. It's a bigger company than that though, but they have a cafe. That's the one I'm talking about down by Chattachak. A celebration under the stars. The pungent smell of smoke was. You mean weed, was unmistakable as revelers celebrated under the stars at a major Thai cannabis festival following the kingdom's decision to begin relaxing the laws around the drug. Thailand has long been known for its tough drug laws, but the government has steadily liberalized them in recent years, and on Thursday the plant came off the banned narcotics list, decriminalizing cultivation and possession. While the changes stop short of... Alright, I already went over this stuff before. Now this guy's got a big old doobie. Let's see here. Let me put the link up for this. Highland Network. That's what the name of the place is. A marijuana advocacy group. Several thousand happy attendees made the most of the newly relaxed rules. As soon as we got through to the other side, we sparked up, said Steve Cannon, 62, who came with a group of friends. Since then, people have been handing me joints all afternoon, and I couldn't tell you what a fair number was now, but I have been smoking all afternoon, said the American jazz musician who has been living in Bangkok for the past 15 days. Now, I will say this. If you are at risk for any kind of virus, let's just say the monkeypox or the CCP virus or whatever it might be, and you're passing doobies back and forth, you are basically putting your mouth on their mouth and the next person's mouth and the next person's mouth. So I would say that that's probably not the smartest move if you're somebody at risk, and that is, smoking other people's joints and just taking anybody's joint that hands it to you. But here's the article right there. There's the link to the article. Roughly 3,000 attendees made the journey to White Sands Beach in Nakhon Pathom province east of Bangkok, where stalls hawking everything from t-shirts and bongs to marijuana buds and hash brownies. I don't know how they got away with it. With stages and bamboo palisades around an idyllic lake. We have been waiting for this for a long time, said Victor Zhang, owner of weed dispensary Nature Masters. Let's see here. Analyst reports suggest that over the coming decade, the legal cannabis market could be worth anything from $50 billion to $200 billion as countries relax laws around personal and medical use. Hey, this is the way for countries to get out of debt. And what's going to be next? There's already countries that have decriminalized the use of various drugs. So, that is okay as long as they wear their mask. I know you're being facetious. Businesses moving to cash in. Thai businesses are moving to cash in on the liberalism, including including CP Foods, the food and farming subsidiary of giant conglomerates, the CP Group. You know, the CP Group, the guy who owns the group, the family, is the richest in Thailand. Last month, the company announced plans to develop food and beverage products infused with CBD, a cannabis derivative, stressing Thailand's favorable climate for growing the plants and reputation for high quality agricultural produce. Smoking can still get you arrested. I don't know why they didn't arrest people there, but somewhere in this article I remember seeing something about them smoking right around the cops. So the new rules leave recreational use in the gray area. Smoking it outside your home could still get you arrested, though under public nuisance laws rather than drug legislation. I do believe they passed that law already, where if there's a smell or smoke and it's offending somebody, they can call the police and the police can fine you up to 25,000 baht as well as 3 months in jail. Cannabis products with more than 0.2% concentration of THC, the psychoactive compound that produces the drugs high, remains illegal. So I don't know why they're saying that when people are smoking buds, and they have, my friend was telling me, and he's back in Reno, he was telling me that really you want to shoot for something, and I'm not an expert on this. I mean, when I smoked, I did so many years ago when the weed was not nearly as strong as it is now. But he says you want anything over 20% is acceptable. 20% THC. People finally free to do what they want. Well, there was a police presence at the festival. Officers appeared more curious than censorious. So now they were probably stoned. Festival co-owner Arun Max Avery, 35, said he had no worries following the law's implementation and the publicity surrounding it. Thais had cooked, created, and medicated with cannabis long before prohibition, he said. So to have their native plant back into their hands is just amazing. People are free to do whatever they want with it. Well, that's not really true, and just because they did it long before prohibition doesn't mean that things will be okay now. So I think, maybe they will be, but I think people should be very careful about what they do and how they use it and where they use it more specifically. But this made me kind of laugh here. Smoking makes me smile. People at the festival were certainly enjoying themselves. Joey, my name is Joey, man, who only gave his first name, giggled as he puffed and chatted with friends, gently swaying. It's so relaxing. My stress is released, he said. Smoking puts a smile on my face. I didn't say it, man. They actually wrote this stuff up, and this was at least the photos are from Agency France Press. I don't know who wrote this. Let me see here. It was from this particular local news site, WION. I don't know what the deal is with them. I think it might be Indian, so who knows. Let me see. You can never get to the bottom. They just keep adding more stuff, trying to figure it out. Right, there we go. God damn it. Ugh. Anyway. Let's see. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. I didn't write the article, but that is the article, and I thought it was slightly humorous. But, like everything else, we will find out eventually what the exact guidelines are. And that's another thing. Besides the flip-flopping, there's flip-flopping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then eventually they come to a resolution, a final resolution. And then people get it. And then it stays in place usually for years. and then maybe there's a change somewhere down the line. But good morning, Mr. Andy. But so there you go. I mean, they're supposed to decide on a few things today in their meeting. And like I said, there was a pop-up weed mobile. Pretty smart idea. I wish I would have thought of it. Although they probably would have arrested me. But, good idea. Very good idea for these people. Let's see here. Okay, that was about the monkeys. That was about the backtracking. Let me see here. Let's see. All right. I don't know if any of you know this, but they're trying to pass some kind of marriage equality law here in Thailand, and that is so that same-sex marriages are legalized. They're not completely legalized yet, but they're trying to pass everything here. All right, let me get into something else here that's a little more interesting. Did you suggest there would be consistency in guidelines on any regulation here? Well, usually what happens is there's a lot of inconsistency in the beginning. Somebody makes a final decision, they stick with it. For instance, if you have a marriage visa, it's been 400,000 baht for many years. If you have a retirement visa, the amount has been 800,065 for many years. So once they settle on something and how they're going to do it, they're generally pretty good, but it's getting to that. And the indecisiveness, and then the fact that foreigners are not the most patient compared to Thai people. I mean, a lot of Thai people, they're just like, might be right, never mind. They could care less. They're like, all right, so what am I gonna do? I tell my wife about something, she's like, and I'm like, that doesn't bother you? Why? I can't do anything. Looking forward to partaking from my pain, not to be stoned all day because that's not my thing. Yeah, it's not my thing either. But there are some times where I'm in quite a bit of pain. And, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. I don't really want to smoke. But if they had some edibles and they were, you could just eat like a little, I don't know, a fudge brownie. A little small fudge brownie or something. Or I was saying a protein bar. You could eat a protein bar that was infused with some weed that helped you get to sleep. I think that would be good. There's your idea for you. Protein bar infused with weed. So all I ask is for the credit of thinking of that idea. All right, let's see here. There was something else. What was I thinking about? All right, I think this is the one where it said they're tightening the cannabis rules. Okay, so far what they have implemented is they don't want minors, and for them, this means people up to 20 years old. Under the age of 20 won't be allowed to consume or own cannabis plants without medical authorization from a doctor. So I don't know that that's a bad thing, honestly. I know some people might argue with me about it, but I don't know that that's really a bad thing. The order also restricts cannabis use for pregnant women. Again, this follows the Bangkok governor ordering that schools become cannabis-free zones. I don't think that that's wrong. I think that's a smart move, actually. Which essentially means that no cannabis products are allowed on the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration school campus. Additionally, smoke from marijuana can be charged under public nuisance laws, as I said. So can the smell, which essentially bans public smoking of the plant. I like calling it an herb. Finally, the Thai government is also asking that restaurants using cannabis in food, I just said this yesterday, clearly label this fact in advance, especially for people who may have allergies. This is because of the woman who basically said that the marijuana freaked her out and it gave her this nasty rash. And there was a photo of it, and I cannot believe that that's what caused it. I just don't believe it. What do you want me to say? I've seen better. I've seen worse. I'm not excited about it. It's only a 33-second video after all. You got to do better than that. You know. Just saying. All right, let me see something else here. Yeah, well, so enough about the weed. Let me see if there's anything else trending right now. If they've had their little meeting. I don't think they're going to have their meeting for quite some time, but let me see here. Free massages, Thailand pass. I don't understand why they really need the Thailand pass anymore. I think they should do away with that. And quite frankly, I think they should say everybody does not need to wear a mask. However, if there's a large gathering and you may be at risk, we would recommend that you wear it. I think that's the strongest verbiage that they should use. I don't know what to say about that there, Me So Hungry. Yoko Ono's voice was pretty bad. I mean, I don't know that you're quite at that level. There will be quite a few people who have had bad reactions to the edibles because they hadn't been exposed to it early on. This happened to my wife. If anybody is going to have a problem with the weed, it's going to be with the edibles, as I said, and that has to do with the fact that it's implemented in a different fashion. You are not smoking it and bringing it into your lungs. It's going into your stomach and having to be broken down, but also because, as I said, they cannot always control the amount of THC that is in every single dose. So, no, an edible is not like acid. Have you ever taken acid? Because I have. I took it back in the day, I didn't take it in the 60s. I was a little whippersnapper back then, but I did take it in the late 70s. I've done mushrooms and all that other kind of stuff, and I can tell you that acid is nothing like weed. I have never smoked any weed that reminded me of acid. It gave me I'm talking about like LSD acid. I'm not talking about, ass gas. All right, let's see what else we got here. We live in a hot zone with relatively more cases. A hot zone? I just don't. At this point, I don't see why people are so worried. Yes, I've done acid in Lake Havasu. Redondo Beach, teenager days. Redondo. I've been to Redondo a few times. And to Havasu. Havasu, I could do without it, I mean, some people love it there, and I understand it, but it is still kind of dry. I like a little more lushness. Junkie? I've never been a junkie. Yeah, I had my share of problems in high school because of well, we're not going to get into that, but had to do with the uh, had to do with marijuana, and it wasn't because I was smoking it. It had nothing to do with that. But the days that I was in high school, there was a lot more stuff out there. Um, like Quaaludes, and nobody really that I knew back then was doing anything like junk. Uh, they just weren't. If anything, they were doing coke. I mean, coke was much easier to get. I grew up in Miami, and that was very very easy to get back in the day. Then, you know. Yeah, well, I mean, if there's elderly people in your area, or there's people who just don't get vaccinated, or then I would say, yeah, it doesn't surprise me if I saw that a lot of places out in the villages, uh, a lot of the older people, they don't give a shit, man. They're not wearing some mask. They just walk around, do their thing. Hey Dello, what's happening there? Yeah, I survived it. I survived it. My rating went down a little bit afterwards just because it sat so heavy. It's just not the most delicious lunch. It's not the best place to go for lunch, in my opinion. I prefer slightly better places than that. I'm not a big fan of Schmegdonald's or Burger King, or I really would rather have a nice home cooked meal, something like that. Let me see here. I can't see without my glasses. That's the thing. When you start getting a little older, your eyesight gets worse and worse and worse. Even my wife's eyesight is getting worse. She was supposed to wear glasses like a couple of years ago, and she just never wore them. And then finally, she just started wearing them. I'm like, why are you wearing your glasses now? My eyes are getting worse. Then those glasses weren't good enough for her. She had to go and get a stronger prescription. Let's see here. All right, so they don't have anything. Wow. Let's see here. 35.12. I don't know if that's accurate. All right, a Thai woman has been arrested. A 47-year-old Thai woman has been arrested in Lat Krabang district for allegedly duping young women into forced prostitution in the United Arab Emirates. She's in bad shape. She's not going to be having fun for a while. Police from the Anti-Trafficking in Person Division, ATPD, armed with an arrest warrant issued by the criminal court, apprehended Rasami Tratib, 47, at a room in the Ut-Aton housing project in Lat Krabang district on Wednesday, said Police Major General Wiwat Kamchamnan, commander of the ATPD. Last year, is it Ms. or Mrs.? Does it really matter? We'll just call her, it looks like Ms. And her accomplices posted messages on a Facebook group named Spa Massage Jobs Overseas Work. Immediately, if any of you guys ever have some girl that you know, or a girlfriend, or whatever it might be, some girl that you're having relations with, but not serious relations, and she starts talking about, oh yeah, I want to go overseas. I'm gonna work in the UAE or Israel or wherever it might be, and she says, I'm gonna be a maid, or I'm gonna work in a spa, or give massages. You might want to set her straight, because the vast majority of time, these jobs they're not what they say they are. They were offering guaranteed incomes of 50 to 60,000 baht a month, and travel expenses were covered. 4 women responded to the post and actually flew to the UAE. On arrival at the airport, they were met by a burly man, a manly man, a burly man, who immediately seized their passports and took them to a massage shop that offered sex services, police said. When the 4 women refused, the shop manager demanded 80,000 baht in taxes from each woman. As they had no money to pay the so-called tax, they were forced into selling sex. If they refused, even during their periods, gang members would threaten to inject illicit drugs into their body, according to police. I mean, this is pretty bad stuff here. They should throw the book at this lady. After about 2 months, one of the 4 victims managed to escape and sought help from the Thai embassy, said police. After returning to Thailand, she filed a complaint with the ATPD Subdivision 1. A warrant was then issued for Miss Rasami's arrest. During questioning, the suspect denied all charges, of course. She was handed over to the ATPD Subdivision Police investigators for legal action. A source said the Thai embassy was preparing to help the other victims. Well, they better move on it, because those girls might not be alive if they don't, get it into gear. I can't remember the name of that movie. Somebody might remember it here who knows about Thai movies, but it was with that, what the hell's her name? The one that Nicholas likes and I used to like, and I like her, but she's all right. I forget her name. She's the hot chick of the moment, or she was. I don't know if she still is at the moment, but she's been in all kinds of movies and stuff. I don't remember her name now. I blanked out on it. What the hell was her name? Longhorns, you know who I'm talking about. Hey there, Carlos. What the hell was her name? She's the one, she's in all, you see her everywhere in all kinds of advertisements and Bifern Pimchanok. She was in the really the only movie I've seen of hers, which I was watching, and I think it was a series. I can't even remember if it was a movie. One of the things was that this woman, or maybe that was another movie. I don't remember. I don't watch many Thai movies, but one of the women was this high-priced working girl, and she was making all this money. She thought her shit didn't stink, and she got into some trouble with the gang that she was working with. Actually, it was the madam, and she was bugging the madam for more work, and how come these other women were making more than her, and the woman was saying, well, you're getting old, they don't want you anymore, and she got pissed, was disrespectful to the lady, and the lady said, well, then you're not working for me anymore. She fell on hard times, didn't have any money, and she basically started selling herself for a song and a dance. She fell in with another gang. This guy, I remember him, he had this nice motorcycle, and he was the tough guy, and she was like, thought she was hot shit, and he didn't care. Of course, he made it a point to do her before he turned her over to this other brothel, and they basically started shooting her up with drugs and doing all kinds of things with her that made it difficult for her to leave. And she eventually got away, but she was in bad shape in the movie. Not by Fern. It was another woman in a movie that I believe by Fern was in. She was playing somebody else. She wasn't. But there was a particular woman who was playing a prostitute in the show or the movie. I think that was the series. And that's kind of what it's like. I mean, go up to go anywhere in a border town. It's not Thailand. It's not just Thailand, but go to just about any place where there's a border. You can go to the border of Malaysia and Thailand. You can go to the border of, say, Cambodia and Vietnam. China and Myanmar. Thailand and Myanmar, and they almost always will have little ramshackle brothels. And I can guarantee you that those people are not there because they want to be and they're happy to be there hanging out with their friends. It's not like some of the people who are working in the bars in like Nana Plaza, who they may not really want to be there, but hey, we're making good money. I'm able to send a little bit of money home to my mom. I'm taking care of myself, and I got freedom. I can party. I can do what I want. Things are a bit different. The border towns, and it's not, like I said, not just Thailand, but in many parts of the world. Generally, border towns are where a lot of these little brothels pop up. Border towns in big cities. 35.22. Is that what it's up to now? That's great. I hope it gets up to 40, man. Although the Thais would freak out. That would seriously do some damage here. I'm going to go back and look at some of the videos I've done in the past where I say, like, hey, this is what you get for 1,000 baht, or $17 will get you this. And then I want to go back and get the exact same items and see how much it costs now. But I got to research that a little bit and, take the time to go look through, splice some stuff out, and then go buy the stuff. And, but eventually that'll happen. But man, it's, I mean, if you're buying stuff off the street, like, street food, and you were here, say, 3 years ago, you will notice the difference between the prices now and the prices then. It's a big difference, percentage-wise. All right, let me see what else we got here. Where are we at here? It's 10 o'clock. All right. Okay, so let's see. Was that it there? Yeah, that was it. I don't know. I'm wondering, will we hear anything more about this case? Or will they just forget about it and you'll never hear anything more about these 3 women? I did know a woman, a young woman. She had a couple of kids. I wasn't involved with her or anything, but I did know her, and she told me, "Yeah, I'm gonna go be a maid in Israel." And I said, "I really would be careful if I were you." And she started looking into it, and she couldn't get a lot of straight answers. And I said, you might want to rethink that. And she did, and she didn't go. And she was really happy that she didn't go, because in the end, she was fairly convinced, because she couldn't get any straight answers about things, And so these women got to be careful. All right, let me see what else we have here, because I already talked about the cooking gas price hike coming soon. Yeah, okay, Thailand's inflation could reach 5.9%, the highest in 24 years. I think the Americas is at 8.6%. Of course, it has nothing to do with the current government, Can't blame it on them. Portion size is also smaller. Yes, I really wanted to look at the Gatorade, because you guys were talking about that the other day, and I haven't had a chance to look at how many milliliters each bottle has in it, and but I also saw the what was it? The Pocari Sweat. Same prices, but if they're giving you less, it's like you're paying more. So, yeah, let's go, Brandon. Got to make a "Let's Go, Brandon" shirt. Like I said, I got a shirt going up. It's gonna say, where is it here? Zero fucks, without the U, and then I got another one that's gonna go up, and it's gonna say "Man Up." So if you got some simpy friend back home in the UK, US, Canada, Australia, wherever it is, and you want to subtly tell them something, give him a man up shirt. If that doesn't get through, then he's hopeless. Now, one other thing that I noticed is that the new Bangkok governor, Chat is going to make some walking streets in Bangkok. Now, they have not said where exactly, but there are supposed to be some new walking streets to help stimulate the economy and improve people's livelihoods. They're considering the areas to be turned into walking streets, but they didn't say where yet. Rental fees would be minimum or waived, allowing local vendors to sell their products at an affordable price. They're also looking into locations for street hawkers to make a living without having to encroach on pavements for pedestrians. Some 30 locations are pending approval from the BMA. And if you remember, Sukhumvit Road, back in the day, was jam-packed with vendors. And it did get a little bit more difficult than usual to walk through. What you should do is make a shirt that says "Woke Lives Matter," and then you have to put like a little arrow before "matter," and then write the word "don't" in red. So woke lives don't matter. It's higher than 8.6%. Well, what do I know? I don't live there. I don't feel. How do I say it? I don't really feel American. You know? I mean, I've been away from there for so long that I don't feel it. I still remember things, and yeah, okay, depending on what the subject matter is, and it brings back memories. But for the most part, I haven't lived there for so long now that I don't consider myself Thai either. Despite what some Thais will say, "Oh, now you are Kon Thai. You are Thai people now." No, I'm not. That's the truth. I'm just being honest. It's not. Oh, you hurt his feelings. Come on, Longhorns, be sensitive. You gotta be sensitive nowadays. Oh, man. Actually, I think people shouldn't take YouTube so serious. Andrew was angry at me because when he came in the other day, I said, "Hello, Newman." And he got angry at me. He wrote me a message. He's pissed off, and I'm a piece of shit, and yada, yada, yada. And I didn't mean anything by it. I wasn't trying to be. I don't see any issues with that, but whatever. Is it I'm insensitive, or am I apathetic? Or is there really a difference? Anyway, let me see if I got anything else here. Okay, so I'm looking at it right now, and I didn't even notice this, but the Thai Parliament, voted, this is a couple days ago, 210 to 180 to pass the marriage equality bill in its first reading. So I'm not sure what that's going to mean for Thailand, but then, I don't know how important it is. Let's see if there's anything else trending right now. I don't care what this guy says. When will the Thailand pass be eliminated? That is the big question. I'd buy a Ban Dowlow t-shirt. You'd understand if you've seen Newman naked. Why would I have seen him naked? And you know, actually, Newman, there were parts of the show where he was extremely large, and then there were other parts where he had lost weight, and now he's no longer the large Newman. Now all the delivery drivers are calling the cut I live on Soy Farang because it has no official name. Soy Farang. Oh, I understand. Now they're calling the cut I live on Soy Farang because it has no official name. Yeah, listen, you know, in my neighborhood, it took me forever to get these people to understand. They would say, okay, so what street do you live on? And I would tell them. And yeah, but what's the street? I'm like, just come down straight and you will end up there. Oh yeah, but where do I turn? No, you don't have to turn. Just come straight. And it's, you know, in the village. And you know, they at first they didn't understand, and they would think, oh, they think, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. But then they realize, oh, okay, maybe you do know what you're talking about. Call it soy car. Soy colucci, or you could call it soy coochie. All right, is there anything else going on, or is this just really, really a slow day today? I was hoping that they would announce the results of their meeting, but that's not going to happen probably until later this afternoon. Let's see here. Tourist influx at Lao border. All right, what is this? So that was 21 hours ago, so that's not new. Boy, I think you're up to date. I did speak to Chucky briefly yesterday. He had went to Chiang Rai, not Chiang Mai. And apparently he's back in Bangkok now, so I don't know. He's hanging out with this Sway Newman. Oh, God, that was funny. And then when Jerry came over, he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then every time Jerry wouldn't look, he'd be like, he would scratch. Soy coochie would definitely attract the wrong type of person. Here's now. This is from the Thai Inquirer, which I really like this website and their articles that they come out. They're calling the PETA campaign, talking about the banning of a coconut milk company, which threatens the local livelihoods in Thailand, for being patently false and terrifically Orientalist. I stand by what I say, though, which is that, you know, I don't know on a large scale. You know, I'll say, okay, I'll believe them when it comes to a large scale. But the smaller farmers, from what I know and what I have been told, some of them do use monkeys to pick the coconuts. So, but anyway, it said here, according to findings made by the group in 2019, a PETA Asia investigation reveals that terrified young monkeys in Thailand are kept chained, abusively trained, and forced to climb trees to pick coconuts that are used to make coconut milk, meat, flour, oil, and other products. Okay, the name of the place was Chalco, which exports to both the EU and United States. As a result of the campaign by PETA, the Biden administration is now considering a ban on Chalco products. This is seriously ill-informed, no monkey business. Audits made both by the company and independent investigator and an animal rights group in Thailand show that no part of the Chalco supply chain was harvested using monkey slave labor. Okay, could very well be true. And, you know, I would not put it past PETA to accidentally release erroneous information or flawed information. The problem with the PETA investigation is that they flew two white people into the country, hired a local fixer, and went around asking about monkeys picking coconuts, said a local fixer reporter who was approached for the same job. That means there is a serious problem in their methodology, little research, and a whole lot of outrage. According to the local fixer, the investigators willfully went to tourist destinations where monkey picking was still carried out for the benefit of tourists. Okay, here's what they say. Does the practice still exist? Yes, it does, but there's less than 100 monkeys nationwide that are still used in a traditional way, and it's fading fast. That the report was bullshit. They had to go as far south as Narathiwat to see the practice still in effect. Okay, obviously they cannot check every single farm, but I would say that this sounds more realistic to me. You know, if it comes to, I'm sorry, but when it comes to PETA, I believe they'll do damn near anything. Whether for the right reason or not. But they carried out a flawed investigation, are really loud about how these third world people must be abusing animals to make a profit, grow even louder, and cause retailers to ban their products. Then they can pat themselves on the back for a job well done while farms go bankrupt and hundreds of farmers go hungry. Good job, PETA. Wow. Yeah. Like I said, I tend to believe this a little bit more. So, you know, from what I know and what I've heard from the area in the South that I go to, they're not beating the crap out of the monkeys. Now, I don't know exactly how they train them or anything like that, and quite frankly, I leave that to other organizations. It's not my business to get involved in that, and I don't really want to know about it. There's a market here everywhere, every Sunday morning, and it's packed with Laos vendors. Let's see here. All right, well, he backtracked. We know that. Okay, now I like this one. This is fairly new. Don't use monkeys to harvest coconut. It's inhumane. Use humans instead. I don't know that it's always inhumane, to be honest. They tend to live in trees and on the side of mountains with foliage, with large trees, small trees, lots of roots. That's where they live. I think the problem comes in that some people do not treat them well. You know, I don't see there's anything wrong with using the monkey to do that if the monkey wants to do it. But, you know, if they can figure out a way to reward it properly, to give it a good life, I don't know if they do that or have ever done that. I don't really know. What I know is not everybody is beating their monkeys. Spanking their monkeys. All right, I like this article here. I don't know how accurate it is, again, or how big it is. Let's see here. How long it is, but let's see here. Stop spreading misinformation about marijuana and educate the public. More on the marijuana. This is big stuff. And, you know, if I was 18, 20 years old, 25 years old, I'd be really, really interested in this, like, for personal reasons. I'm not really all that interested. I think, you know, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You're bad, dear monkey. You hit that monkey hard, huh? Oh, you're going to meet up with Fernando. Wow. Yeah. I need to go back to CASHAPP, but I always got to prepare myself to go there because and I'm sure there's a lot more people there now than there were. If you remember, I was at CASHAPP 2 years ago, a year ago, maybe 6 months ago, and there were not very many people, although in the past few streams it was getting better. and by better, better for the ties, for the vendors. As far as for somebody like me who doesn't want to be in the middle of, 1,000 people in the 100-degree, 80% humidity, 80% chance of rain weather, then, there was some sarcasm in my monkey post. Anytime we talk about monkeys, I think we just, stop spanking your monkey. I think we just can't resist. Yeah, where is Monash? What's he doing? Is he working? He's too busy spanking his own monkey to come in and give us a little time? What's going on with that? Long time no see. I forget who it was that sent me a message a short while ago about how they love the live stream where Monash called me. I was in Ayutthaya. I was at the burger, whatever it was called, the little burger truck. I can't remember the name of it. And it was funny that he called me up and surprised the hell out of me. How far is Chanachek from your Starbucks? I'm gonna say it really depends on traffic, but anywhere from about 25 minutes to about 45 minutes. It's not real far. It just depends on traffic. It always depends on traffic. If you come at, say, 10 in the morning or 1:30 in the afternoon or something like that, there probably will be less traffic than, the usual rush hour times. I mean, that's how when I have things to do, I plan my trips around. I either go very, very early at like 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, or I wait until like 9:30, 10 o'clock when most people have already started to go to work. Yeah, it's a straight shot. It's just a matter of how much traffic. If there's no traffic, then it's an easy run. But if there's a lot of traffic, if you go like late in the afternoon, it can be a bad mother. Who says that? You got to end that with the F word. Anyway, let me see here. Okay. Misinformation concerning Thailand's new marijuana laws spiraled rampantly last week, especially from government agencies. I really do believe that there needs to be at least 2 or 3 people in these government agencies that have actually tried marijuana. They have used the wacky tobacco. On more than one occasion. I really think if they're going to talk about something medically, and even doctors, I think they really need to try it. Because they're not going to die from an overdose. And this is, first, Bangkok Governor Chatchart Sitipun claimed on Tuesday that the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration found the world's first case of a person who died from a marijuana overdose. That was a baffling statement, not to mention BS. About a day later on Wednesday, he walked back on the ill-formed claim, admitting that officials should see the autopsy report in detail. By Wednesday evening, the autopsy report was released. It showed that the 51-year-old had an underlying disease that resulted in death from heart failure. Dr. Suksan Kitisupakon, the director of the BMA's medical office, even noted that it cannot be determined whether the marijuana he smoked an hour before hospitalization had anything to do with the cause of his death. On top of that, there was no trace of THC. the chemical compound in cannabis that makes you high, in his system. And like so much in Thailand, the initial report was completely baseless. This is a Thai writing about this. Yet it did not stop Chat from, I want to say Chat from telling authorities and the media about it. Recreational use of marijuana in Europe started in the 70s, and yet somehow Thailand found the first case of a person who died from overdosing on marijuana only less than a week after the plant was decriminalized. Give me a break. I love this guy. Let me see if it's the same guy. No, it's somebody different actually. But I love the site, ThaiEnquirer.com. Even if you are totally uninvolved in drug culture, people are aware that no one has ever died from a marijuana overdose. It simply never happened. And that's true. I mean, like I said, if all the people that I have ever known, nobody's ever died. And the fact that Chuckles threw up from it and got paranoid. Okay, paranoia can happen with the use of marijuana, whether you're smoking it or it's edibles or whatever. That doesn't generally cause somebody to go out and commit suicide or to kill themselves or to do something that might lead to some kind of a death or whatever. It generally doesn't have anything to do with it. The paranoia is more along the lines of, did I do something wrong? Wow, what's going on? I don't feel right. And so I'm almost 60 years old now, and I started when I was about 15, and I don't remember ever feeling like, oh my God, I smoked too much, I'm gonna die, or having any skin lesions or infections, or breaking out in a rash or anything like that. Don't remember ever seeing any of that with all the people that I hung out with or myself. Throwing up, I don't know why he threw up. I want to ask him about that. I'm not saying that can't happen. Some people get so high, maybe they lose their equilibrium and it makes them nauseous, but it's supposed to take away the nausea. All right, but here comes the funny part. On Wednesday, the government's public relations department had a good idea to try to educate the problem about the side effects of marijuana usage. Maybe the idea was nice, but they hilariously failed in execution. Based on the information provided to them by the faculty of agricultural innovation of Rangsit University, the department's explanation of the favorable effects and adverse effects of cannabis and how long you could feel these effects were somewhat close to the truth. But their suggestions that people could get rid of the undesirable effects were funny, to say the least. First, they recommended drinking water. Well, I would say if you're going to smoke a bunch of weed, you need to drink water just because you don't want to get cotton mouth. And, you feel better when you have some water. You don't have this nasty cotton mouth that some people get. But then added that people should eat lemon or chew black pepper to get rid of the effects. I did not see this. So there's this graphic here, and I'm going to put this up in the community tab on my channel here. Effects of cannabis, favorable effects, relaxation, decreased anxiety. Wait a minute, I thought it makes you paranoid. It depends on the strain of weed. Adverse effects, bloodshot eyes. I got bloodshot eyes all the time because I don't sleep great. Dry mouth. Okay, cotton mouth. Excessive sleepiness. How long does it take to feel the effects of having cannabis? 5 minutes after dropping the cannabis oil under your tongue. 10 minutes after smoking. I don't know that 10 minutes. Try like a minute. You take a big hit of some good weed and, you're high almost immediately. You feel the effects of it. 10 minutes, okay. I mean, to be safe, you could say 5 or 10 minutes, but really, if you got some strong shit, one hit, you take one hit and you're like, whoa, man. You know, 30 minutes after eating. How to handle negative effects. Drink lots of water. Do light physical activities, e.g., walking slowly. Eat some lemon. Chew black pepper. This is their public relations department. I don't know where they get this information. I don't know how they tested this. There's absolutely no need to go to the extreme lengths of eating lemon by itself or chewing on black pepper. Just drink water or eat food. I mean, you do get the munchies. If worse comes to worse, where the effects refuse to go away and you do not like it, try to go to sleep. Yeah, well, pizza usually will do the job. As for concerns over the lack of control over marijuana usage, it was good to see the BMA coming up with the order to make schools in Bangkok as marijuana-free zones, and the Ministry of Education is looking to follow suit. I do think that's a good idea. You don't need some, and it'll happen if they allowed it, some like 10-year-old kid puffing away. It still could happen, but at least they're saying it's not going to be as easy to allow this to happen. The health ministry already announced rules to regulate marijuana usage under the age of 20. Pregnant women cannot buy marijuana. Ban on smoking in public. All right. Responsible marijuana shops have also started to put up warnings on the plant's side effects and impose their own rules to ban children or pregnant women from being able to buy their products. What government agencies should do is to help provide accurate information about marijuana and its side effects. Instead, they have kept to their true character, and it seems they don't even speak to each other again. Reefer madness. My recommendation for related agencies is to stop, take a breather, research, talk to each other, and then educate the public with accurate information. How about they do a comprehensive test? They start doing it right now. They can do their own test. And they let this go on for, say, 20 years. They test for like 20 years, every so often, to see where people are in their lives and how it's affected them. Because, people have always said that, oh, well, pot is a gateway drug. The only reason that it's a gateway drug is because you're using something that has been illegal. Just because you smoke a joint doesn't mean you're going to do heroin or use coke. However, if you're going to, your buddy Somchai's house because he's the only dude who's got the shit in the neighborhood, but he just happens to have something else there, he may be someone who is like, hey, listen, this is really good. If you want something else, that like counters this or that will, get you even more high, hey, here's this. Could be whatever. That's, in my opinion, how it is a gateway drug. It puts you in touch with more people that are involved in the drug culture. Other than that, smoking a doobie is not going to make you go, oh my God, I've got to go out and cop some shit. I got to get some other stuff, harder stuff. That's not going to happen. Yeah, so anyway, that's what they've got here. I do like that article. Is there anything else about that? No. Yeah, I do like that article quite a bit. Straight shot on lead should hire a Jamaican. Was he vaccinated? Bad mother. Shut your mouth. You saw how much that dog ate. He didn't die. Food always tastes better when you're stoned. I don't want it legal to smoke everywhere. That shit stinks. Well, it's kind of like smoking, like cigarettes. If you're all dressed up and you're in a nice suit, you're in an expensive shirt, and you just, let's say that you're at the mall, you're going to buy some stuff, you get a bunch of stuff, you're all dressed up because you've got to go to some meeting, and some dude is standing outside puffing away, and you walk out the door and he's getting ready to walk in and he's smoking, you're walking right into the smoke. It does sting things up. And if you're not somebody who is a smoker, which I really have never smoked cigarettes. I've tried them, and I got sick, and I didn't like it. But if you're not somebody who smokes cigarettes, you will smell the cigarette smoke from 50 feet, 100 feet away. You can often smell that smoke. So, and it is bothersome to many people who don't smoke. So I would say that weed is the same way, except it smells a bit sweeter and it's a bit stinkier, depending on the, if it's skunk bud or whatever it is, it has a different aroma. Can't stand cigarette smoke either. There you go. And I'm sure you know people who are smokers. I know, a fair number of people smokers. Nobody smokes inside of my house. I can tell you that. Because I don't like it. And, there are times when I've been around people and they're smoking, and the only thing I ask is, hey, don't blow it in my direction. If you remember, the guy named Carl Lewis, he was the, Olympian. I don't know how many gold medals he won or whatever, but anytime he went into a room where there was media, one of the conditions was that he would only go into a room where there was no smoking. He would never go into a room where there was smoking. You need every edge you can get, and the last thing you want, especially if you're a sprinter, is to be sitting in a room full of people who smoke. I can say this, that many years ago, when I first came to Thailand, I don't think I was even living here. Maybe I was. Maybe I just moved here. I used to go into Nana Disco all the time. Angels Disco, whatever. Everybody called it Nana back in the day, but Nana Disco at the Nana Hotel. And I used to go in there all the time. And at the time, people could smoke in there. So I'd go in there, the place is this, it's full of smoke. And after a while, I got bronchitis. And I actually had to go into, it got so bad that I had to go into Bumrungrad, and I was in there for like 5 days because the smoke had damaged my lungs. I was in there so often, and I was not a smoker. The only thing I had done is smoke weed, and that had been years before. But I never smoked cigarettes, and so many people were smoking cigarettes then that it really affected me. And they put me on oxygen like for a couple of days, man. I was on the oxygen. I'm a reformed smoker now. I can't stand the smell of cigarette smoke. I mean, my friend Scott, he's a reformed smoker. There's quite a few people who I know who have stopped, but it is very difficult for them to stop. And I would say it's much easier for people to stop smoking pot than it is to stop smoking cigarettes. Definitely physically. There is really, I never thought there was I never thought that there was a problem. I find it humorous that people always worry about me and what's going on with me. People that don't even know me. Goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye. I won't ride in my friends' vehicles if they want to smoke, but it's their ride, so I'll just drive on my own if they want to smoke. My parents smoked in the house when I was a kid. That started my hatred. I knew a guy who we used to go, I was talking about him the other day, we used to go for drives all the time, and he smoked, and man, I hated it. And finally he stopped, and it was much better then. If you're not a smoker, it really affects you. Now, the one thing I would say with weed is that, to me, it has a much less harsh flavor and taste It's much less harsh on your throat. Just my opinion, and from what I remember. But of course, if you're smoking too much, you take too big of a hit, you start coughing, um, then that can make a difference. You get headaches and stuff like that. I will say that, that like I remember smoking weed and coughing my brains out, and I'd be so stoned, but my chest would hurt, my head would hurt, but that it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm gonna OD. It was never anything like that. You get a bit of bronchitis. Okay, that I can understand, because your lungs are not meant to have a bunch of smoke thrust down them. Anyway, for some people, all this does not matter. If you're out in, for instance, if you're out in Chatuchak and people are walking around smoking birds, smoking doobies, I think that the security is going to do something about it. They're not going to allow people to walk around doing that. So, all right, what else do we have here? Is there anything left here? Singapore tops Asia Pacific in ranking for startups, 7th in the world. All right, this came out a couple days ago. Well, where is Thailand? Singapore has overtaken China as the top-ranked ecosystem for startups in the Asia-Pacific region, according to Startup Blink's Startup Ecosystem Index 2022. 7th out of 100 in the world overall, behind the United States, Britain, Israel, Canada, Sweden, and Germany. Singapore was 10th in last year's ranking. Okay, so where's Thailand? Let's see here. Yeah, it's not in the top 10. All right. Where are we at for time here? Well, we got a few minutes left, but I just find the whole marijuana thing to be interesting, because imagine you're someone who lost, maybe you were trafficking, you were selling, you got a couple kilos of weed in the back of your car, you get pulled over, guy comes out with a police dog, the dog smells the weed, you get busted, oh, you're a trafficker, you're a drug trafficker, you get 25 years in jail. And now that wouldn't happen. I'm not talking about you got, like bale after bale of weed. I believe it would happen then. But, let's say it used to be, I can't remember if it was California or Florida, but it was like if you had over an ounce, and if it was divided up into separate bags, that constituted that you were a dealer, because you had multiple bags, so you must be wanting to sell one bag to one person, another bag to another person. That made you a dealer. If you had everything in one bag and it was under like an ounce, then that was for personal use. I don't remember all the rules and the laws on this stuff, and there's a lot of stuff I don't remember anymore about pot, because I just haven't smoked really in many years, Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're about done. Tourists. Oh, here's the tourist influx at the Lao border. Visitors return. So there's an answer to your question. Another question, I believe it was Longhorns, who asked about the land borders, or maybe it was somebody else. And I did say, yes, they're open, but hordes of tourists have been crossing at the Thai-Lao border for shopping and travel, especially in northeastern Nong Khai province, since the two countries eased their COVID-19 measures at the start of this month. Two countries are attempting to recover economic activities along the shared border. The checkpoint in Nong Khai now ranks as the fourth most popular entry point to the country after Suvarnabhumi and Phuket airports and crossing in Sadao in southern Songkhla, which borders Malaysia. Checkpoints have now been reopened to promote tourism and trade on the fourth Thai-Lao Friendship Bridge in Chiang Khong district of Chiang Rai, the third Thai-Lao Friendship Bridge, as well as the municipality pier in Nakhon Phanom. I wonder if that's the one that I remember, that pier. Let's see here. Also in Ubon Ratchathani's Srinhorn district. Well, you're not supposed to be doing border runs per se. I don't know that you're allowed to do border runs in the sense of you walk across the border, get the stamp, turn right around, and I've done that before many years ago, and I always hated it because it always meant you have to go somewhere. So you'd go to like Poi Pet or wherever, and you would stamp out of Thailand, stamp into Cambodia, you'd walk across, then you'd have to turn around, get in line, stamp out of Cambodia, make your way through the no man's land, go over to Thailand, and then stamp back into Thailand, get back on, and it was time consuming. It was a pain in the ass. It was a day long little trip, and it wasn't what I would consider to be very much fun. And most of the time, like in Poi Pet, that place is a shithole. I don't think that they can do it. I don't know. I'm not sure, because I remember them saying something about, well, how are we going to get around the Thailand pass? There was something that was holding them up, but maybe they've resolved that problem. I don't know. Let's see, border runs, ED visa. Let me see here. Land border run rules, June 2022. June. Can I do a border run in Thailand? Airport border runs. Flying in and out of Thailand can still be considered a border run or visa, but because if you're going over a border, okay, well that's. How do you get into Thailand? Are Thailand's borders open? Yes, as of May 1st. Thailand is now open borders with its neighbors Malaysia, Myanmar, Cambodia, as well as Laos, which opened on May 1st. 34 open land crossings. Entry requirements, that's what I wanted. Okay. June 1st. Thailand pass has to be done. Okay, well that's immediate. The insurance certificate, okay. Unvaccinated. Okay, it says a valid passport or a border pass for arrivals via border checkpoints. If you are unvaccinated, you must have that particular border pass, but I don't believe that is for Americans. The Thailand pass, Thais are exempt once essential details have been completed via the system. All right, that's the same thing as the people who are vaccinated. Let's see here. On arrival requirements, blah, blah, blah. Oh, for arrivals by land using a border pass, they will be allowed a stay of no longer than 3 days. Okay, well that's, I'm thinking Miyawadi and Massaut as a place. That's an example of a place where you can go across the border, but I believe there you're only allowed to stay and you have to be back by the end of the day. Yeah, it doesn't say anything here about the land being a problem, being, crossing over a land route being a problem. This is the TAT news, and this was from 2 weeks ago. Border pass, Thailand pass. So you got to have the passport, a Thailand pass, and insurance. And if you don't have, if you haven't been vaccinated, it doesn't matter. Upon arrival, all travelers must undergo entry screening, including body temperature check, and present the required documents. Vaccinated travelers will be allowed to entry and are free to go anywhere in the kingdom. All right, so I already went over that. So yeah, so it looks like now you can do that, but the Thailand pass, it's like an immediate now. You get it almost immediately. So really, I don't see any reason why you couldn't do it. I don't know, how they are going to be now. And this is another thing that people haven't been talking about. Before this whole pandemic, when people were, let's say they were on a tourist visa, or they were on a visa exempt entry, and they had extended, they might be allowed to come in. In the old days, you could just keep going and coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, as long as you did not overstay. And even if you did overstay, you'd pay the fine, and then you leave, and then you just came right back. There was no, well, you can't stay for longer than this amount of time. But if you remember, before the pandemic, it was like after about 9 months, they were like, hey, you're going to have to get a visa. You can't just come here on a tourist visa and just stay forever. So that's what's going to be interesting to find out is, are people going to be able to just come and go as they please now? Fly in, fly out? No visa. They got an exemption. Or they have a tourist visa. They just keep extending and extending and extending. I don't think that's going to happen. But that'll be interesting to see. So, listen, the crystal ball does not always know everything, but eventually you find out what you need to find out in due time. So, anyway, anybody got anything else they want to say? What is this here? All right, this was the walking street thing. Let's see if the wow, what is this? One-stop cannabis knowledge shop opens, and Thailand may become a digital hub. Let's see here. Yellow, pink lines to open for limited trial next year. Okay, I believe the yellow line is the monorail, or it leads to the monorail. Let's see here. Yes. The yellow line is under construction on Sinakarin Road in Bangkok. The yellow and pink line monorails are expected to begin partial operations early next year, as construction of both lines are almost complete. The tentative schedule for partial operations was discussed at a meeting yesterday of transport officials to prepare for the launch of services chaired by Transport Minister Saksayam Chitcho. Construction of the yellow line, which will link Lat Pral and Samrong, is about 92% finished. So that is the line that is right in front of the Mall Bankapi. 92% finished. I noticed they've got a lot of stuff going on from about Lat Pral 111, even closer to the Mall Bankapi, all the way to where the turn is that goes Sinakarin. while the pink line, which will connect Minbury and Catrai, is 88.5% done. As such, the yellow line is expected to begin partial operations in January, with the entire line expected to open in June. Okay, so that's kind of what I thought. I thought that they were going to do the tests in April and it would be done by June or July. But this is good news. Although, if I listen to my wife and we are moving out sometime this year, it might not, it may not matter that this is being built. But that's really good news for people who want to travel down Lot Prow. For instance, if you want to come from Chattachak Market, you can just take the SkyTrain and the monorail. It'll be one straight shot. Should be one straight shot, and boom, you're here. So, for whatever reason, that makes me happy. That makes me happy to see. Now, here's this one-stop cannabis knowledge shop. Ooh, guys holding up some bud. It's this one-stop service shop is to educate people about cannabis, hemp, and kratom at CASHAPP University on Thursday. That kratom is good stuff, man. There's not much I can say about this. Cannabis and hemp plants will also be given out. They will have a QR code attached offering details of the species and how to look after them. Oh, okay. Two plants for each household, free of charge. That's the government's target. So if you're here and you want some Dowlow, if you're still here, yeah, maybe you can get yourself a couple of freebies. Anyway, all right. Well, I guess that about wraps it up, eh? We are at the 2-hour mark right now. CASHAPP University, which is actually, it's about 30 minutes away from my house. Supposedly, they'll be giving out free marijuana plants. So maybe you want to go there with your wife, Dallo. I don't know, you know. Maybe you can grow your own. Anyway, for some reason I am. Maybe because I'm trying to read. See, if I put my glasses on, there's a reflection, and I need my glasses to read. So when I'm not using the glasses, my eyes they get very tired very quickly. My eyesight is not good. All right, what is this? All right, so like I said, these lines that are out here in my neck of the woods should be done in the next 6 months or so, which is fantastic news. And that connects up really the whole city. Well, listen, they've been working on this for like 3 years, man. This has not been quick. It says the pink line is scheduled, partial operations are scheduled in February. And you see both of these, the difference between this and many other lines that are in, let's say, the sky, elevated, those are run by the BTS. This is run by the MRTA, which is the subway. And these are monorails. So, you know, that's good news. To ensure the monorails run smoothly, a number of panels have been set up to hash out feeder systems and fare structures. They want to eliminate any teething problems and fix them before full commercial operations begin. Yeah, I don't know that I would be jumping on these, like be the first person, because I believe at least once or twice they've had some problems where they've had some problems. That's what I'll say. I don't want to say people have been injured because I don't really remember. He also encouraged people to watch out for dust or noise or dust pollution that might arise when the lines open to the public. A subcommittee on train fares was instructed to keep fares at a minimum and introduce the EuroPay, MasterCard, and Visa payment methods on both lines to ensure commuters' convenience. Fares on both monorail services would start at 14 baht and not exceed 42 baht. That's excellent. They will be integrated with the blue, purple, and orange lines so commuters won't have to pay extra fees to connect. So that's really, I can't overstate this enough. That's great news, man. That's really good news. People will be able to get around much easier. The only thing I would say is it may bring a lot more people to my neck of the woods, and I'm not a fan of the number of people that are here now. I mean, I kind of wish it was a little more isolated. But whatever, It's a good thing, so. Anything else here? Let's see. What was this that I saw over here? The 5G, the digital hub. Listen, we got 5G in our house, and it almost never works. I always go back to the 2.4. There's a 2.4 setup, and the 5G, and the 5G doesn't always work. Yeah. Anyway, this is just more hooey about nothing. So, all right. That'll do ya. So, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. I don't know what the hell this means. You make no sense, dude. More hooey about nothing. Things do grow fast. All right, Jim, you take it easy. Longhorns, down low. Everybody else who's watching, take her easy. Maybe I can get Chucky in the next couple of days. I can get him in here and we can have a little chat with him. I don't know. I'll see. He's a very busy little beaver lately. He's a little social butterfly, like I said. So, whatever will be, will be. Que sera, sera. Anyway, do me a favor. Remember to click that thumbs up button. Smash it. Crash it. Bang it. Pound it. Do whatever you want to do. Hit it. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. That would be good. Look down in the description. Everything's down there. My social media, my website where you can purchase one of my books or both of my books. You can purchase merch. You can become a sponsor on YouTube by clicking the join button down below the video window. You can contribute through PayPal. You can use the Cash App. You can use Patreon. You can use Buy Me a Coffee. Or you can just watch. You can just join along, join in the party. You can watch, you can comment, you can do whatever. But figure it out. It's up to you, as they say here. So until next time, I am Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Chok Di, Lel Jerkan Mai. Have a good weekend. Stay out of trouble. And, see you when I see you. Chok Di, Jerkan Mai. Good luck. See you later.